March 18th, 2018. The day that changed anime forever. Till this day, no other day for anime has been as hyped as this one. Episode 130, the Mastered Ultra Instinct versus Jiren climax. When Goku finally mastered Ultra Instinct and Goku and Jiren ran a fade so hard, it broke Crunchyroll and basically every other streaming site you can watch this fight at. People in Mexico were literally outside in crowds watching this episode. Even reaction channels was getting millions of views because of this episode. One of the most iconic themes was birthed during this fade, and because of this fight, it proved that anime could be a global event. And I'm here to present to y'all the 4 fades in anime that I know will end up breaking the internet. And the first one on our list, Kokushibo versus the Hashiras. So as y'all know, the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie grossed approximately $793 million worldwide. This makes it the highest grossing Japanese film and the highest grossing anime film of all time. This shit outsold Superman and the Fantastic Four, a DC and a Marvel movie, which is crazy to think about. Y'all are also forgetting, back in 2020, the Demon Slayer Mugen Train movie grossed over $512 million worldwide. So obviously, if you put 2 and 2 together, arguably the biggest fight in Demon Slayer, when it gets animated, will easily break the internet. So as Gyomei and Muchiro are both venturing around the castle, Muchiro gets hit by this wall, which ends up taking him straight to Kokushibo. And Muchiro already knew he was finna catch an ass whooping. Bruh, tell me your weak ass name. Dude was scary as hell during this entire altercation. Muchiro then goes for an attack that he dodges with ease. So Muchiro continues to keep testing his luck, only for Kokushibo to cut this boy's hand off. Then using Muchiro's own blade, he's finna stab him into the pillar and axe him, "Let me turn your weak ass into a demon, bro." So Kenya then pulls up with the blick, trying to put some bullets in the bro. You trying to put bullets in the wrong bro, dude. Put some bullets in your dog shit barber for fucking up your haircut. He's then finna slice off both his arms and slice him in half. And before he finishes him off, my boy Sanemi slides. "Hey, you was talking all that shit to my brother, come talk that shit to me, bitch." He then rushes Kokushibo, goes for a slice that he weaves, then Sanemi goes for an attack that this motherfucker jumps over. Then they collide attacks. Then Kokushibo uses 6th form that does hella damage to the bro. But little did he know, a whiff of Sanemi's blood makes demons drunk. So they are running a crazy ass fade right now. And before Kokushibo wipes Sanemi from the face of the planet, the GOAT Gyomei slide. And right off the bat, Kokushibo knew he was dealing with an absolute unit. So my boy starts winding up his spiked flail. Then he goes for an attack that he dodges. And after they go back and forth for a bit, my boy Gyomei tees up. And Sanemi rejoins the battle. So they are 2v1 in his shit. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, it looked like they had the upper hand. Until Kokushibo decides to stop playing games and show him exactly why he's called the #1 upper moon. So my boy Kokushibo starts wilding out with the attack. So Gyomei, Sanemi, and Muchiro all rush him. Gyomei takes off his entire shoulder and arm. Then Muchiro stabs him. Then Genya ups the pull again, shooting him, using the gun's demon art to stop him in place with a whole bunch of branches. He's then finna let off this slashing attack that throws them back. He grows a whole bunch of swords out his body, but that shit don't matter because they end up beheading his shit. But shit ain't over yet because this crazy bastard turns into a Resident Evil boss, and with the combined attack from Sanemi and Gyomei, they end up killing his ass. And the significance of the ending of this fight is Muchiro and Genya both dying, which leads to Sanemi and Gyomei both locking in, which leads us to the next fight that's finna for sure break the internet when it's out: Muzan versus the Hashiras. So you might be asking, why am I using 2 fights from the same show? Y'all gotta understand, when these 2 next movies come out for Demon Slayer, they're both gonna easily break the internet. Obviously, no anime so far has come as close to MUI Goku, but y'all gotta understand, statistically, Demon Slayer broke records. We would have never thought an anime movie would surpass a DC or Marvel movie, ever. And those were more of the 2 low-tier fights. When these 2 high-tier fights get animated, I promise you, they're breaking bigger records than that movie did. And when that final Demon Slayer movie come out, everybody finna be at that bitch. It's finna be all over Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's finna be everywhere. I mean, everybody remembers the altercation Muzan had had with the Hashiras before Infinity Castle, when all of them locked in to take out Muzan right there and then. And since then, we have been hyped for a round 2. So during all this, Muzan's chopped ugly ass imprisoned himself in his flesh cocoon to complete his form, which he ends up doing. He's then finna jump out and start causing absolute chaos. So Muzan pulls up on Tanjiro and Giyu. He uses a whole bunch of whip attacks that Tanjiro and Giyu both dodge and weave from, and before he can take out Tanjiro, Mitsuri slides. She then uses her sword just to do 0 damage. Obanai also joins the party, and Muzan was pissed off because he confused on why the hell they still alive, knowing damn well Nakami should have been put their asses into a grave. Nakami's kind of busy right now, bro. I kind of have her dumb ass stuck in a trance. And I ain't gonna lie to you, Muzan, this is where you die. So while Muzan tries to take control back of Nakime, both Obanai and Giyu go for an attack on Muzan, but then Muzan kills Nakime, which then makes the Infinity Castle collapse. So Obanai, Mitsuru, and Giyu were all getting bitched by Muzan, till of course Gyomei and Sanemi both slide. And look at my boy's eyes, he's on demon time. He's finna throw some gas on him, then burn his ass. And you might be wondering, where the hell is Tanjiro? Yeah, his ass is laid out. So Muzan's attacks are getting even more fiercer, and in the process of his attacks, my man does the unthinkable and takes out my goat, Mitsuri. So the Hashiras was feeling that poison that was circulating in their veins. It low-key looked like they was finna lose until the goats, the legend, the absolute I'm sorry. Chachamaru slides with the antidote to Muzan's poison. Then he kills Chachamaru, bro. You don't understand how sad and angry I was reading this shit, bro. So Muzan is realizing that his limbs are getting cut off, but he doesn't know who the hell's doing it. But it turns out Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Kanao all slide. So the Hashira and them are cooking Muzan until out of nowhere, he takes them all out. And he was about to massacre Kanao's shit. Then out of nowhere, someone sets him on fire, takes his limb. Muzan's then finna look to his right and see Tanjiro holding Kanao. And this is where we get one of the most iconic panels in Demon Slayer, Tanjiro looking at Muzan with complete hatred. And Tanjiro had this man feeling the PTSD, imagining Yoriichi in him. So Tanjiro continues to walk all over Muzan until he trips, and before Muzan could take him out, Obanai saves his ass. Then they 2v1 his shit. Tanjiro then notices that Muzan's scars he got from Yoriichi's last ass whooping centuries ago never fully healed, and they're still being burned till this day. Tanjiro then tries to take advantage of this, then Muzan hits the gas pedal. Obanai then stabs his ass through the throat, and Muzan is getting tired. So everybody's jumping his ass, and it's about to get horrible for Muzan because the sun comes up. So they're holding Muzan down. Desperate to survive, he turns into a big ass baby. He's crawling around trying to find some shade. So these motherfuckers start driving cars into his ass. Yomei drags his ass back into the sunlight, and after all their efforts, Muzan officially fades away. So the significance of this fight is not only the fade, but the deaths that happened right after it. Our boy Yomei gets killed. Obanai and Mitsuri literally die in each other's arms, imagining a happy life together. And we also get the introduction of Demon Tanjiro. So y'all can kind of see why I know for a fact this movie is gonna break the internet. But y'all wanna know another fate that's for sure gonna break the internet when it comes out? Goku versus Moro. So this next one was pretty obvious considering the fact it's Dragon Ball. But people might have forgotten about Dragon Ball. I hope y'all understand, when this gets animated, it might be one of the craziest things that happen in the anime community in a long time. Y'all gotta understand, the whole Moro arc happens right after the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And if there's one thing I can say about Dragon Ball is the fact that they're really good at building hype. So yeah, maybe a lot of people aren't talking about it now, but when that first release trailer or when an announcement is made, I promise y'all everybody's going crazy. Dragon Ball is in a realm of its own, and I feel like they can release pretty much anything and people are gonna eat that shit up. But the fight ain't gonna be the only thing they are excited for. Is the fact that Goku uses MUI for the second time. And I think it's pretty easy to say anything that involves MUI is easily finna break the internet. I don't care what y'all say. So after Goku and Vegeta get their first loss against this fucking guy, Goku goes into a training arc, then he slides back in his Ultra Instinct Omen form. So Goku starts machine gunning his shit and he's blocking him. He then creates an explosion underneath Goku that Goku jumps away from. Moro sends a whole bunch of blasts towards Goku that Goku just sonics right through. Then he punches Moro, but Moro blocks it. Moro then uses his magic to immobilize him, but it's Goku, so he gets out of that shit. Goku's then finna headbutt, then kick his ass. Then he starts R2 spamming Moro mid-air. They then punch each other in the stomachs. Goku then rushes punches him. Psych, I'm behind you, bitch. Kicks his ass back. Moro then gets a hold of Goku and drains the bro's ki. But again, it's Goku, so my bro transforms again. So they both powered the up. Moro's then finna power up this big ass attack only for Goku to kick that John out his hand like a soccer ball. He's then finna kick his ass in the stomach. Moro then grabs his leg and slams his ass on the ground. And after they run they fade for a while, Goku ends up getting bitch, which then the androids have to intervene for a while. He even runs the fade with Vegeta for a little bit. So after violating Vegeta, violating Piccolo, he decides, yeah, I'm just gonna run my arm through Goku's chest. Goku's then finna take a big pot, fly back to the battle, transforms back into his Omen form, rushes Moro with a kick that Mans easily dodges. Mans goes for a whole bunch of punches on Moro that he's easily dodging, but this shit still isn't enough because Goku still ends up getting his ass whooped. So Maris decides to run the fade one last time before disappearing in front of Goku's eyes. But that's what my boy Goku needed, because my boy Goku then turns into MUI. I could already hear and see the reactions on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, hearing that beautiful theme song after 10, 12 plus years. Even Moro could feel that long aura that's been sealed up for years. So Moro goes for an attack, and before he can actually let his arm down, Goku stops it mid-air. Moro couldn't believe how fast this crazy bastard was. Moro's then finna go for a back kick that Goku jumps over, a punch that Goku easily evades. Then just using the tip of his wrist, tapping his arm makes him fly back. He then goes for another punch that Goku easily redirects, and you might think that R2 spam might work. Hell nah, Goku is easily blocking them Johns. Then Goku gives his ass the Toji special and starts smacking his shit around. Moro then tries to R2 spam again just for Goku to obviously dodge all them shits. Moro tries to attack Goku just for Goku to disappear, then spawn right behind his ass. So Moro thinks powering up's finna save him, but this ain't no regular version of Goku. This is MUI Goku, so what comes with that comes telekinesis. Lit picks his ass up. Then we get arguably one of the best panels in this whole fight where Goku punches his ass mid-air, creating shocks so powerful they were felt across the entire world. This is one of those moments that's definitely finna have everyone going crazy watching this shit. So Moro is in shambles, and again he thinks powering up's finna save him. He creeps up behind Goku just for Goku to back kick his shit in the chin. Then he kicks his ass in the stomach. Goku's then finna pull a cell and give his ass a senzu beam. Listen bruh, if I give you this John, will you go back to prison? Of course. Psych bitch! Breaks his hand on Goku's chest. Now this is where Moro starts acting disrespectful. Mans is finna grab the hand that Maris chopped off during their fight, reattaches it to his body, then starts using Maris's Ultra Instinct. So now the fight is on more equal grounds. They both rush each other with a punch that explodes the entire area they're fighting on. So now they really throwing them hands. This ain't no one-sided fight no more. But because Moro's body can't handle that much power, he either has to let go of them or be destroyed by them. But there's a little issue. Killing Moro will mean destroying the entire galaxy. And the only way to actually defeat him is breaking the crystal that he has on his forehead. So this big bag of a character is eating up everybody's life energy on Earth. So Goku wastes no time to rush him, but then he gets stopped by his arms. So everybody gathers up all the chi that they have and gives it to Goku, but it still isn't enough. Then out of nowhere, a big ball of divine power gets sent towards Goku, which he absorbs, which allows Goku to pop his Susanoo. Now when this moment happens, the internet's for sure finna lose their minds. If you ain't think it was finna break the internet yet, this for sure cements it for it breaking the internet. Goku then punches his crystal, defeating him. I honestly have zero clue on why this is a debate whether it's finna break the internet or not. I thought us as an anime community will now know anything Dragon Ball related is finna destroy the internet. But this next one I'm gonna talk about is definitely finna raise some eyebrows, because next up we got Saitama versus Garou. So obviously this one's an iffy one considering how bad season 3 did, but y'all gotta understand, this is a fight I know for a fact they will not fumble. This fight had the entire anime community distraught with how crazy this shit was. A literal fan animation from 5 months ago almost has 8 million views, and an animation from only 2 years ago has 14 million views. We not only get the introduction of one of the craziest character designs we've seen in a minute, we also get the introduction of a serious Saitama. Saitama. And I will forever stand on this. If this fight gets a crazy adaptation, everybody will remember this fight. I promise you that. So their first fight begins with Saitama pulling up on Garou, and we get one of the coldest panels in One Punch Man. Garou goes for an attack only for Saitama to just lightly punch his ass back. And that shit did something to his brain to make him remember all the time Saitama one-tapped his shit. So Saitama is just easily dodging Garou badly. He then karate chops Saitama in the head only for Saitama to eat that shit then jump back up. He then punches Saitama in the face only to get zero reaction and punched all the way across the ocean. So this pissed off Garou so much to the point he made it a vow to defeat Saitama. He then turns into his monster form. Saitama's then finna walk up to him and say, "You wanna hit me? Go ahead. You won't. You won't, bitch." Garou then slaps the shit out of Saitama, straight up eats that shit. What you looking scared for, kid? He not doing no damage to me. Then slaps him back. So Garou is just spamming every button on his controller, hitting him with every moveset, every single jab, punch he can think of. He was locked in on killing Saitama. And after all that, Saitama looks like he doesn't even have a scratch on it. He then gets rage baited again into switching into his gargoyle form. Then he starts spamming Saitama again, only for Saitama to be enjoying himself. He's then finna tackle Saitama into this mountain that creates a shockwave through the entire earth. But it still does no damage, and Garou himself said this bald bastard is the embodiment of unfairness. Garou then goes for one final punch before Saitama punches him out of his monster form, which he then loses the fight. But it ain't over for Garou, not even close. This is actually the beginning of one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in manga anime history. So we see this big ass cloud just appear above everybody, and people are confused. We then see this feet walking towards Garou through these big ass clouds, and then we see a visually stunning panel of God looking at Garou. He then jumps down, and this is where we see Cosmic Garou for the first time. He's then finna use an attack called Nuclear Fission, which is basically like getting hit by a nuke. It does damage to Saitama's clothing, and with this new power, he's able to copy people's power output. So he goes into Saitama mode and hits him with normal consecutive punches. Saitama uses the same ability, and they're creating all these nukes around them. Garou's then finna hit him with a gamma ray burst, which leaves Saitama MIA from the fight for a while. And we all know as an audience, Saitama wasn't fighting serious, and Garou, out of all people, knew that. So he wanted to test Saitama's gangster. He wanted to piss Saitama off. So he's finna kill Genos right in front of Saitama's eyes. And this is the first time we genuinely seen Saitama this serious. Garou ain't done with the disrespect, because he's then finna throw Genos' core at Saitama, and this is where we get the stare of the century, the lock-in stare, the I ain't playing no more games with you stare, the I'ma show you exactly why they call me a gag character stare. Then it all goes black, and all we see on the screen is Killer Move Serious Series. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where you pause the video, go to the kitchen, make yourself some popcorn, a sandwich, get some chips, because this is where the fight actually begins. Saitama's finna rush his ass with a serious punch. Garou then gets into Saitama mode, and we get this beautiful panel of them both going for a punch. This punch was literally finna blow the entire earth up, so Blast had to teleport them to space, where their punch destroyed all these stars. We then see Garou looking up at Saitama like he's the villain. He's then finna tell Garou, "Listen, gang, I'm only finna use one hand to whoop your ass." So Garou thought this shit was finna be easy. He's then finna spawn a portal under Saitama just for him to kick it out the way. Saitama then punches his ass in the face. Garou then tries to spawn a portal to fly behind Saitama, only for Saitama to tip that bitch upwards, then punches him. Garou then hits Saitama with a nuclear fission again. Saitama's then finna dig his hand into the crust of the planet they're fighting on, and basically demolishes the entire planet. And while Garou's falling, Mans is finna jump all around him. Then he goes for a punch that Garou tries to escape from, but Saitama was right behind him, hawking his shit down. Then Saitama punched this dude so hard he was creating zigzags around the broken planet. So Garou is going back and forth with Saitama because his goal is to ultimately copy him until he surpasses him, but he slowly realizes that every single time he gets stronger, Saitama also gets stronger. So Saitama then blocks a punch from Garou before he sneezes, blowing up the entire planet's crust. And Garou basically said what everybody was thinking: why the hell is an animal like this loose on Earth? So Garou thought, maybe I can just teleport away from the bro. So he shoves him into an explosion, jumps into his portal, and right when he thought he got away, I'm behind you, bitch. And can y'all guess how he caught up? No, he didn't fly. He farted. Yes, farted and caught up to him before punching his ass down back to the earth, ending their fight. So all we can do now is get on our knees and pray a godly animation studio picks up this fight. So Mappa, Ufotable, please pick up this fight. I'm begging y'all. I'm telling y'all, if either of these anime studios pick up this fight is easily breaking the internet, no question. So it's obvious that every fight I've listed so far isn't coming close to MUI Goku versus Jiren. They're gonna break the internet, but nowhere near what Jiren versus Goku did. But y'all want to know one fight I know for a fact I'm willing to die on this hill is for sure gonna either surpass or be on the same scale as Jiren versus Goku? Don't lie, y'all seen this coming. We all seen this coming. Gojo versus Sukuna. It still kind of mind boggles me that people genuinely believe this fight would not break the internet. This isn't just a fight, it's the climax of the biggest battle between the two strongest characters in one of the most popular anime manga in modern anime. Every single time a new chapter released for this fight, TikTok and Twitter were both going crazy. Everybody around the world was watching this battle together. We had updates on Twitter, updates on TikTok from big creators. People argue it's gonna lose the hype considering the fact we already know what happens, but that's the thing. This is Mappa. They are known for changing it up and making fights look crazy as hell. Even simple scenes like this will look crazy in the anime. And I'm telling y'all now, if they perfectly set up season 4 into making a movie about Gojo versus Sukuna, it's gonna be the biggest thing we've ever gotten in anime history. And a lot of people undermine the Twitter hype like this motherfucker ain't get 10.8k likes in 1 minute. So I'ma stand on this right now. Yes, I do believe Gojo versus Sukuna will come close to or surpass MUI Goku versus Jiren. So the first thing Gojo does after getting unsealed is press up on Sukuna. So yo, chopped ass, think because you got a new body, you still gonna escape this ass whooping? Think again, bitch. How dare you talk about my daddy like that? Shut your ass up, water boy. So they both agree to December 24th being the day they throw the fade of the century. Kenjaku's then finna ask Gojo if he doesn't expect to lose, and this is where we get arguably one of the most iconic panels in manga history. Nah, I'd win. So it's the day of the fight and everybody's patting Gojo on his back. So using Utahime, Gakuganji, and Ichiji, they boosted Gojo's cursed energy output, allowing him to use a surprise 200% hollow purple. And cause Sukuna heavily reinforced his arms with cursed energy and utilized the domain amplification to basically neutralize a portion of the attack, he blocked it. We then get a panel stating the strongest sorcerer in history versus the strongest sorcerer of today. So Sukuna goes for a kick that Gojo blocks, then a punch that Gojo dodges, then he sends Sukuna flying through this building, then using Limitless, Gojo's then finna grab the bridge that Sukuna's on and throw it at a building, which Sukuna ends up escaping from before it collides with the building. Sukuna then uses Dismantle not to hit Gojo, but to hit the building behind him, and he did this because he wants to see if he can bypass Limitless by attacking the space and the environment around the barrier rather than Gojo himself, which it ends up working. They then exchange blows in the fallen building. Then as the building crumbles, I'm blaming you for all this destruction, gang. Yo, dumbass, you forgetting that May broadcasting this shit all over YouTube and Twitch? They then both pop their domain expansions, giving us the best panel in JJK I've ever seen. And because Gojo's domain is vulnerable from the outside, he was able to take advantage of that. So think about it like this, right? So domains clashing, it's like two spheres going up against each other. But with Gojo and Sukuna, it was different. It was like a sphere sitting on top of a flat plane. So he ends up slashing Gojo in the neck. But Gojo ends up instantly healing that John with RCT. So Sukuna starts spamming his shit with slashes. But this is where Gojo realizes that Limitless is way better than Malevolent Shrine. Gojo wastes 0 time going for the exit, but Sukuna was right behind his ass. They then exchange blows again. Gojo then pops his simple domain. Gojo then rushes him only to be hit by Sukuna's cuts. Gojo then uses simple domain again, only to get cut again, and people were worried, is Gojo finna lose? He then jumps on Sukuna to use curse technique reversal before leaning back and and using red that sent him flying back. Gojo and Sukuna both popped their domains again, but this time Gojo could actually protect himself from the outside without the same shit happening again. So they are throwing them shits. I'm talking full out boxing. But again, Gojo's domain ends up collapsing, which comes with a whole bunch of strikes to his body. But because Gojo used Falling Blossom Emotion, it didn't really do much damage to him. Gojo's then finna pop another domain expansion, but it's the size of a basketball. But Gojo was smart as shit for this because it not only maximized the durability of the domain, it allowed his domain to endure longer while also doing damage to Sukuna. But it didn't really matter because Gojo's domain ends up getting shattered again, and Gojo is now 3-0 as far as domain clashes go. We then see Malevolent Shrine crumbling, and it turns out during their domain struggle, Gojo had did hella damage to Sukuna. So they end up going blow for blow again. We then see the Dharma Chakra spin, and Gojo's nose then bleeds. They then go back to boxing, and I ain't gonna lie to y'all, bro. This is the best fight we are gonna see in the next 5 years. They are throwing them shits. They then both use domain expansion again. We then see Gojo pierce his ass through the chest, but Sukuna can't do shit because of unlimited void. Sukuna needed help before Gojo was about to crush his ass, so he calls the boy, the bro, the unit, Big Raga. So Raga instantly adapts to unlimited void, destroying Gojo's domain. He tried to use domain expansion again, but because he used his RCT to repeatedly heal his burnt out curse technique, he couldn't. So Sukuna then tries to pop his domain expansion, but because of the damage Gojo did to his brain using unlimited void, he couldn't. So Gojo starts laughing at his ass. He then tells him, hey bro, I got my sons watching me fight, so make me look cool, yeah? Punches his ass in the face. Gojo's then finna drag his bitch ass across all these buildings. Then they exchange hands back and forth again. Gojo then flings these blue curse energy orbs at Sukuna, which he dodges. Gojo then comes from behind, blocks Sukuna's kick, then kicks him back. Gojo's then finna hit Sukuna with red that Sukuna barely blocked because he minimized the damage, and before Sukuna could adapt again, red explodes right behind him. And it turns out Gojo made red go across the entire building to hit Sukuna from the back. Pause. Gojo then hits him with a black flash that knocks him out, then the wheel falls off his head. But of course, the Raga comes to save Sukuna, grabs Gojo, then slices him in the chest. Gojo then tries to use red, but then Sukuna taps back in and uses Megumi's ability to let Maharaga escape. Sukuna's then finna throw a fire extinguisher to blow it up to allow Maharaga to go for an attack while Sukuna uses piercing blood. Gojo blocks the attack from Maharaga and Sukuna, so Sukuna thought, it's already kinda unfair. Let me just spawn a third player. He spawns another Shikigami by the name of Agito. So they just straight up 3v1ing my boy. But of course, Gojo was still working they shit. But then Maharaga cuts off Gojo's arm. Did you really think that was finna stop Gojo though? Stop playing. I ain't gonna lie to you, brother. You not only chopped, but you the slowest out of all of them. So I think I'm gonna take your stupid ass out first. Then he proceeds to punch Agito in the stomach, then turns Agito into a pack using blue. Gojo then heals his arm using RCT, and Sukuna is scared. Gojo then wastes 0 times to put the ass whoopings on Maharaga and Sukuna before punching him into a building. Gojo's then finna do some crazy ass shit. He shoots a red towards the sky, making it go towards the blue he used earlier to make purple. Maharaga and Sukuna both try their hardest to get in the way of it, but they end up failing, and he gets to use hollow purple, which ends up exploding the entire area, leaving Sukuna looking devastated. But the worst possible thing that could happen happens. Gojo gets off-screened, and we see a panel of him dead on the floor. If you weren't there, you wouldn't understand the significance of this panel right here. The leaks were crazy. Every single social media was talking about this shit, bruh. Every single anime creator you know, or just creators in general, was talking about Gojo's death. But we later find out that he died to a world-cutting slash. But that concludes Gojo versus Sukuna. But I'm telling y'all now, bro, no fight in the next 5 years is touching this fight in specific. Y'all seen the pull JJK season 3 had. Y'all finna see the pull JJK season 4's finna have. And the build-up and the announcement to a possible movie is finna break the internet itself. Mappa isn't gonna hold back for this fight. It's coming for that MUI Goku vs Jiren crown. But I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Let me know down below what other videos I should do. It's been your boy. Peace out.